Welcome back to another daily dose of Mynar, Chapter 6. Getting out of your own way. Move out of your own way. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time and talk to you about this. I do see, and I believe without a doubt, this is a hindrance. This is what causes issues for salespeople. Keeps them from earning more business, keeps them from closing more deals and raising their income. They get in their own way. As humans, we tend to get in our own way, and that may sound crazy to you, but what does that mean? What do you really mean by getting our own way? Well, a lot of things about us, a lot of things were created the way we think, were created as a child. And you hear some references to the inner child. There's a child inside all of us. Even though we're adults and we're older, there's still a child inside of us. And that child can tend to come out quite a bit. So it comes out in different situations, emotions, different things that we're put in front of, different fears, lack of confidence, way of thinking. That child comes to life right out of us. It's where our outbursts come from, where we get upset, where we lose that momentum, we lose that confidence, or we lose courage, let the fear overtake us. And that's created as a child. So depending on what might have happened in your childhood, how it can create, that likelihood in you to come out as an adult. To be transparent, a little open, due to my childhood and the things that occurred to me, it helped me and it hindered me my entire life until I was able to realize what is going on about me. And how it helped me was a sheer willpower. Not to fail, to never give up, to always beat the other person in front of me. It made me very, very competitive, which was wonderful for sales. And, the part of that childhood that did that was my size. I was a short child. I was made fun of quite a bit when I was little. Parents weren't exactly there. I hate to say it, but my father wasn't very supportive of me. Really didn't encourage me, made, statements that's basically, what are you going to, like my diploma or graduating high school, when I was in 11th grade. And basically I was told, are you even going to graduate high school, or are you just going to be like the rest of the guys in the neighborhood, smoking left-hand cigarettes, working dead-end jobs, basically, and not getting anywhere in life. Get my diploma, and what are you going to do with that now? You're going to wipe your butt? It's just, what are you going to do next? And I was told, boy, you always got to work. You got to take care of your family. Boy, you better work. Boy, you better work. And so that was bred into me as a kid. But the thing was, I was never told I was doing a good job. I was never told, you're working really hard, you're doing great. It was never enough. You got to keep pushing. And so it helped me in a sense to give me that willpower, to succeed. I mean, I graduated high school. I wanted to show my dad I could graduate high school, even though he thought I wouldn't. But at the same time, I developed a fear inside that I'd never be good enough. I'm just never going to be good enough. I'm never going to reach that level. And so I thought I had to keep working harder and harder and harder because I wanted to, outperform those around me. I wanted to outperform my family. But it seemed like I never was outperforming them, until I realized, that was a control over me from my inner child, and I have been outperforming. And it's not even about outperforming them individually; it's about how I perform, to my heart's desire, and what I do. So those things will come out, and how they could affect me. Being with clients and starting out so young in sales, I worried that, hey, I'm not good enough, I'm too young. Because of what my mentor had said, I never hire anyone of your age. You got to sit in front of people and sell them, these expensive, high-end, $30,000 products. Are they going to take you serious? And so that was a fear that was inside me. And sometimes that would come out. That inner child would come out at me, and I wouldn't be able to close a deal. I'd lose deals because I wouldn't be able to show my confidence. So we can get in our own way in that sense. That inner child actually can step out of us and cause us to get in our own way. Another one is lack of confidence. That inner child, if we don't know something or wasn't taught something, how to handle that situation, And a lot of times we get in our own way because we don't know what to do next. We don't speak with a confident way of thinking. We get afraid what to say, how to explain something, and we can go different directions. We can just kind of, guys will just kind of walk around it, say a bunch of different things that don't really make sense, doesn't really answer a question because they don't know what else to say. Someone will just fumble, kind of stutter, lose track of what we're trying to say, don't really know what to say at all. Someone just literally avoid the question altogether, get nervous, get afraid. And then, one of the ways that I've learned to do it was just, hey, tell the truth. Look, you know what, that's a great question. I actually don't know that, but let me find out. I'm going to call somebody. So that can happen. And then in our own belief system, like me, I don't believe in leasing. Let's take solar, for example. I truly don't believe in doing a PPA or leasing. You don't own the products. I don't believe in that. I purchased my own system with cash. However, I have sold and I've trained how to do leasing and PPAs, as well as how to finance products. I'm not a big advocate of financing a product for 20 years for your home. However, that's not going to stop me from training or selling it. And that's the key, is not putting your own personal beliefs in it. You're working with the client and you're helping build the job with the client. But it's the client that's purchasing the product. It's not you. And, it's what's best for them, and being able to help guide them and be able to decide with them what's going to make the most sense for them and what they're most comfortable with. And that's the key. You've got to be able to present those options to them and not get in your own way, because your own way of thinking or your own feelings. I do believe in having morals. There's situations, if you think a person can't absolutely afford something, don't put them into debt. If they're not coherent, you think there may be, a case of dementia, not clear understanding, you've got to have the morals, integrity. However, just, your personal instinct, if you don't think, oh, this person doesn't need this product necessarily, but the person wants it, don't stand in your own way and try not to sell it to them because, you wouldn't want it. You wouldn't buy it. Another way we stand in our own way is we start telling ourselves it's too expensive. Man, this product I have is a lot of money. I wouldn't buy it for this. I wouldn't pay this kind of money. That's one of the biggest ones that sales reps get in their own way. They think, this we're overpriced. This product's too much. This company charges too much money. And so, we get in our own way. We let that take control, and we start saying it's too expensive, and then that actually comes out in the way we present it. So even when we try to present it, we don't present it with confidence. We present it with lack of confidence because we don't believe in it. And the customers can read that. So we get in our own way that way too. Another way we get in our own way is, we can have our lazy streaks come in, or, our lack of, wanting to move forward, and, our lack of motivation, or flat out our lack of trying. We just don't have the energy. We make up excuses and reasons. Oh, well, I got to go do this. I got to go run this errand. I got to get my oil changed, or I need to go get my hair cut. Instead of making those calls, calling those clients one more time, instead of not getting in the car, but actually walking around the neighborhood and talking to, other folks, knocking on their doors, going to other businesses, asking for referrals, going back to some of our own customers. We can get lazy. So that inner child gets lazy. It just wants to play. It doesn't want to be responsible. It doesn't want to push ourselves to the next level. And our inner child wants to stay safe. We want to stay safe, and we don't want to take risks. We don't want to take chances. So we get in our own way and we get stuck. We want to stay inside of a little circle, a little box, our little box of our own mediocrity. And we don't even notice it. And we're in our own way. We're not reaching outside of that box. We're not trying something different. We're not learning new techniques. We're not taking additional coaching or training. We're not looking at other ways to do things. We can kind of become insane, end up doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results. So I don't know about you. I wouldn't recommend being stuck in that box anymore. I wouldn't recommend getting in your own way. You got to become a chameleon. When you're with customers, you've got to be able to change, adjust, and adapt and overcome each situation, because there's different personalities out there and different styles of people. And so you got to be able to adjust to each one of them. You got to be able to make friends with one of them. Even if you don't like that type of personality, or there's something about it that you don't personally like, you've really got to step outside of yourself. You got to step outside of your box. So it's like being an actor. You got to be an actor, in a sense, and you got to step out and you got to put on the show, and you can't allow your own feelings, your own personal thoughts to play a part. That could separate you from that client and that sell, cause that separation between the two. And that's huge. We do that a lot. So you got to get in there and you got to be able to present, and you got to be able to self-lead yourself. So it may sound crazy, and I think a lot of salespeople, we can be called crazy. I think it takes a special breed. And maybe it is the ones that are crazy to be able to be really good at sales, but you got to be able to talk to yourself. So you got to be able to visualize and imagine that you're stepping outside of yourself. There is now two of you, and one's a manager and one's your normal self. And that one that's stepping outside is in the position. My job is to sell. My job is to create business. This is my responsibility. I need to bring in this income. I need to make sure my company is moving forward. This is my responsibility. All my personal feelings are left aside. And be able to self-manage yourself and be able to talk to yourself. Hey, in this moment, am I allowing myself to get in my own way? Is it stopping me from creating this sell? And being able to turn that off in that moment. So you've got to be able to let go of your personal feelings. You got to be able to let go of your personal thoughts. Hey, I've had guys and gals, don't like. Oh, I don't like to feel like I'm pushy. I feel like I'm being pushy. I don't like pushy salesmen. And they say that because they don't want to ask more than once, hey, for the purchase. So they're afraid that if they ask more than once that they're being pushy. But what they don't realize is they don't even ask once, because they're so locked up and so afraid to push that they won't even ask for the order the first time. And then they're quick when the customer says, oh, okay, this is great, thank you, I'll get back to you. They're quick to believe that, and they're like, okay, great, here's my business card, I look forward to it. And so they end up becoming more of a rollover instead of a salesperson, because they let their personal feelings get in the way. They thought they would be pushy. And part of the techniques and training I'm going to give you is how not to be pushy, but how to continuously ask for the order. Most closers know you find a way through techniques to ask for the order 4 or 5 times. So that's key. So that's just one prime example of directly how a person get in the way. And we don't realize that. What most importantly I want you to understand is you don't realize when you're getting in your own way. It just happens. Like I just said, a person thinks they're being pushy, and they don't realize they're actually not even asking for the order the first time, because subconsciously they think by doing that they're being pushy. And they didn't even realize that they never asked for the order. And they're quick to jump when the customer says, I'll get back to you. They're quick to accept that. Because that's an easy way out for them too. They were scared to ask for the order, so that's an easy way out. It's comfortable for everyone. It's not stepping outside my box. It's not making me feel unsafe. And a lot of that actually is created in our childhood. People being passive. Those things are created, how they were created as a child. So you have to look at yourself and think about, how was I created as a child? What happened to me as a child? And that inner child that's inside me, that's hurt, broken, torn, how is it going to react? How is it going to come out? So you have to parent it. You have to become a parent. You have to think. And then you have to let that child know that it's safe and it's okay. We're going to perform. We're going to do our job today. And our job is to help a customer. Our job is not to get in our own way. Our job is not to put our own emotions into it that's going to separate us and stop us from creating that sell. You have to nurture that inner child and let that child know it's okay.